Hey Virgo, this is your Wheel of the Year 2023 reading. Excuse me. Let's start with your oracle cards. Um, Somebody else got very similar, if not the same exact oracle cards, and I shuffle in a way that's just not possible as a fail on my part. So there could be another aspect of your chart that's coming through. You might want to check out the other readings, especially your sun, moon, and rising. Those are the most important in terms of getting a overall picture. All right, so free your inner fire. You're going to be kind of focused on getting something done during this year that's kind of a feat. It's to some degree. Like I see these two first cards as something that maybe you feel like you're being held down by something. There's something that's out of your control, and you're kind of throwing yourself into your work in order to get through it. I see that there's some sort of really big transformation coming in for you. We're talking like a big transformation, because I have all this really powerful energy in these cards. And they're all from the same suit within this deck, I believe. I don't know. No, they're not. But it just feels like they blend pretty well together. And I just noticed for the first time that this eagle right here, the sea eagle, I mean, it always looks like a phoenix to me, right? It's about completely being demolished. This reminds me of the Tower, these two cards here. Demolishing something to build it back up to something better. So as the eagle is diving, I never noticed the little fish right here. So he's got his goal. This is a goal here. Okay. So there's a lot going on in your life in 2023. Probably more so than you've experienced in a long time. And through all this, no matter the ups and the downs, with what's going on externally from you, you're going to be going through some sort of spiritual transformation. There's alchemy here as well with this card from the Pure Magic Oracle. So it speaks of something changing, being completely disassembled, demolished, burnt to the ground, and starting over and growing more beautiful and more in touch with your spiritual side. There's also some sort of kind of dragon theme with the snake here, with the kundalini. It's like you're ascending. There's some sort of fire element, just spiritually. You're going to be very fiery this year. There's fire here, fire here, fire here. And it looks like where you start, maybe that fire is kind of lit under your butt by something else. Something, I mean, this woodpecker's in the middle of a hurricane, and yet it's still trying to pinpoint the perfect spot. I don't know, maybe you don't see it coming at first. And when I think of a woodpecker, I don't know about you, but I think of it as like kind of not a bird. It is probably a bird of prey to some degree, but I see like these being like the chain, the circle of life, kind of like the hierarchy, food chain. That's what I'm going for. The woodpecker's looking for little bugs. The sea eagle is literally diving and catching a fish out of the water. It's a big bird, and so we go up the food chain, and maybe the sea eagle can get the snake, but this snake looks it looks kind of dangerous, you know what I mean? It's got different colors, which are nice, but like it looks like a black mamba almost. I know it's a black snake. It's probably just like a rat snake, but I don't know. There's something with the bones there is almost dangerous about this snake. They're like spiritually dangerous. I don't know. There's other things I can think of, but I don't want to use them because other people use them, and I don't want to copycat anybody. But there's some kind of really powerful like change that's happening within you, and it's coming from like a domino effect in your life and triggering you alchemically to change into something far greater than you could ever imagine, I think. Now, in your first house, you might be feeling a little bit burdened physically by something. It could be family issues. It could be family life is very kind of draining on you at this time. But I don't see it being like a super negative thing. The cross usually is kind of a challenging card. And it is across from the coffin. And that can speak of a couple different things. But what I want to focus in on is the rest of the cards in the first house. You have the sun there. So you're going to be in the spotlight this year. People are going to be looking for you for the answers. You're going to be the one that everyone goes to make everything good. You're also going to be seen and get a lot of attention as well. The Ten of Cups is attainment of the dream, of happiness. Finally manifesting an emotional state where you can feel comfortable and protected and secure emotionally, and you've gone through the suit of the cups, so you're ready to start all over again with something new that can emotionally fulfill you. Looking for new things. So I find that you might be maybe looking to have a baby, some of you, because I have the Ten of Cups next to the Empress in reverse and the Page of Cups following that. So, and if the sun was from the actual tarot, it would have a child on riding a horse as well. So there is something that's you maybe wanted for a long time, but have had a difficulty. It could have been literally having a baby, because that does involve your physical body, and Aries is about the physical self. However, it could be something to do with your body, that you've wanted to kind of go forward that would make you happy. And that can range from, I'm not going to get into all the different things it could be. Anything to do with the body and improvements, okay? The Page of Cups is a younger person, though. It often is a child. I think of it as a child. So, you may have children, and they might be very much a part of your everyday, because when they're little, they always are, I would think, right? So, also, this can be spiritual. You can be very spiritual this year. I do see the cross and the snake here, that kundalini. There's a spiritualness to you as a person this year. People will be seeing your high vibration. You might be wanting to be a parent, and maybe that's kind of been on hold for a while, but it seems like you're offered something. Something comes in, some good, happy news that you've been hoping to get in your life, or to manifest and create. You also could be very artistic this year. And it could come from a spiritual place, and it could be painting or anything to do with, that kind of medium. Painting of any kind, drawing. But yeah, it's just very interesting. I like your first house. It looks good. Now, in the 7th, we have some endings going on with partnerships and relationships. That doesn't mean romantic. That doesn't mean business. It could be one or the other, or, you know, just little things throughout the year where that end and start anew. Something could go quiet in relationships as well. I see it just being that time, that a time for an ending, kind of a fated and destined thing that comes in and ends. The Ten of Wands in reverse, you're having a hard time holding on to the burden of something and it's stressing you out. So if you aren't in a relationship where everything is going good, chances are with Jupiter here, it could expand anything that it touches. So if the relationship's going good, it's going to be really nice and it's going to go well. If it's not going good, however, it will probably expand on the problems or kind of exacerbate the problems that are in your relationship. So that could be jobs, that could be, you know, romantic partners, dating, marriage. It covers pretty much all of them, okay? Friendships, more so partners and business partners. The coffin is a quiet house, so it's not necessarily always a bad thing, but it's a natural ending, right? Everything eventually ends. You know, we constantly have to evolve and change, and that's what you're really going through. So because you're changing, you might be, you know, not the person that you were in the relationship at the beginning of the relationship when you started. You might be a completely new person by the end of this year coming up. And you might not fit into that same spot that you did once before, or you might feel a little stifled in that spot. However, it seems like whatever the burden is, there's good luck here. Jupiter is a benevolent planet. It's the most benevolent, right? It gives us the big wins. And something ending seems very fortuitous because you have the Wheel of Fortune and Jupiter and the Wheel of Fortune are like best buds. So it's like almost too much of a good thing maybe in relationships. It might be hard for you to kind of cope with the amount of goodness that comes in within relationships, whether you're just leaving one and then another one comes in. Maybe your partner ends up stepping up and most of your duties with the family or whatever else you're normally doing kind of steps in and takes over a lot of the tasks that you used to do so that you're able to relax more, because it seems like you've been very overly stressed and overburdened with the business partner. Now, if this is a job, I can see you even potentially winning some kind of getting an inheritance of some kind, with the passing of somebody that was older and sick already, and then obtaining quite a good deal of money from that, and kind of letting go of. You're sad, you're grieving, definitely grieving, but the burdens are taken off your back because of this fortuitous event that came of something kind of tragic. So that's something I see there. Don't worry if it doesn't apply in your life. I don't think that tomorrow someone's going to die. It's not, you would already know that this is coming. This is not something, this is a natural death. This is not or something that's been going on for a while. Yeah, Jupiter brings blessing. So whatever troubles there are, you've got a sandwich of like the Wheel of Fortune and Jupiter, and there's some tough stuff in between, but you're going to get through that, and you'll have expansion in your relationships no matter what ends, and then, you know, it'll bring in something new and it'll be better. It'll, you know, you might, if we're not talking about somebody dying here, whatever ends, like a job or something, there will be a fortuitous change, and you will grieve the loss of that job, and then something better will come in. Now, in the second house, we have Mars. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Ooh, that's a nice combo. We have the Two of Pentacles. Temperance. And the Heart. And the Lenormand. Okay. Let's go to the 8th house. We have Venus, the Emperor, the Queen of Pentacles again, the Two of Pentacles again, and the Path. All right, so I'm seeing major synchronicity here. Your second house of values, what you like, what you like, that's literally it. What you value and what you take into your body. The 8th house of debt, taxes, taboo, the occult, okay, shared resources of any kind, investments. There's a lot of similar things going on, and it's very kind of scary that the Two of Pentacles is before the Queen of Pentacles. And here we have the same thing, exact same placements, really, except for we have one card in front. There's 4 cards total besides the planet card, and I have them next to each other in the same order. So there is some sort of link between your second house and your 8th house this year that will be very significant. And it could have to do with a relationship and moving in together, or sharing some sort of resources, or owning a business together. Because the Emperor is a businessman, right? He's the one that calls the shots. He's the boss. And he's got the Queen of Pentacles right by him. And she's the boss of her world as well. And she's very the salt of the earth, but like very financially well off or well to do, because she's kind of built her empire, you know, just like the Emperor has. But he's a little bit more fiery. She's a little more earthy and grounded, right? Like very interesting energies there. Now, love is patient. That's something I'm getting from what you value. You want somebody that's patient and takes their time to get to know you, maybe. And you're having to balance work a lot, and you're very productive in terms of what you're working towards, or you value somebody who is a hard worker. And so you might need somebody who also kind of reciprocates that same energy, because you are very focused on work, and that might take a lot of juggling, you know, and there's only so much you can do with your day. You know, you only have so much time in the day, right? And so you're having to be patient and kind of wait and see where the love is going, and you're valuing or appreciating, I think, that it's taking time to like get to this point. It's not rushed. Also, you could be healing your heart. You're valuing healing your heart this year. And maybe you just got out of a relationship, and now you are trying to gain some balance, and you're working really hard, and you might be working really hard from home or on a business that you have, and you're valuing this drive that you have. Also, it could be a lover valuing the drive that you have as well, or others in your life valuing how hard you're working. Mars is no joke, and Mars in Taurus is kind of a weird energy as well, because Taurus is about taking its time and enjoying the luxuries of life. It is ruled by Venus, right? But we have Venus in the opposite house as well. okay, in the 8th house. So there's a lot of synchronicities here. Um, and Venus and Mars opposite each other too. So that is love. So this is talking about a relationship and the shared resources within that context of that relationship. And this relationship may very well be healing your heart after some difficulty, after a difficult time. You could be bringing two elements, two people together, really, and learning how to juggle work and this new relationship this year. I see it being a very sexual relationship, very sensual, because these two houses are about sex and sensuality, right? So, also, financially, this is a path that you love. So, you could be making choices that you really are just adoring in terms of your finances. But this is a path of love. So, you will be going down the road with somebody and moving forward on and with a relationship within this year. I'm pretty sure that this is going to happen just because of how many of the similarities and the connections between the cards are. It might have taken a while to get to this point with this person, or it might take a while during this year, but I say enjoy it. The Two of Pentacles also is enjoying things as they come. It's very Jupiterian, and we did have Jupiter in your 7th house. So this is a relationship, and you'll be like kind of juggling work and play, and it'll be really, you'll be on the same page, I think, with your opposite PIC, you know? You're gonna have similar kind of energies going on. And that, you know what I just noticed too is that there's so many things going on with these two houses. Aries, right, is kind of I believe that the Emperor is Aries. And then we have Mars, which is Aries ruler. So Mars is there right after. So it's like the same 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Same exact 3 cards. Very, very interesting. This person could be an Aries, a Capricorn, a Taurus, a Sagittarius. Yeah, those 4 signs. Aries, Taurus, Capricorn, Sagittarius. Or Virgo is, I'll even throw Virgo in there because the Queen of Pentacles in Virgo. You or them, or the both of you, all your signs are there. All right, let's move on because that was so cool, but we have to get going here. North Node in the 3rd house. The Ace of Wands. The 10 of Swords. The 9 of Cups. And the dog, Lenormand. You're going to be spending a lot of time chatting with your friends this period. You'll be communicating with friends a lot. You might go out do a little drinking with them a lot, you know. However, the 10 of Swords is about maybe an ending that comes in, but there's a new beginning followed right after it. A friend you know could communicate to you this year that they've quit drinking, or they've gone on a diet, or something. They're changing their things up. You also could be thinking about loyalty and what you desire, what will fulfill you, or what friends are really true to you and fulfill you in your life because of an ending that happens with someone in your immediate circle that kind of sparks a new passionate beginning in some regard. Your faith as well. You might be thinking a lot about faith, and how, because the North Node is faith, right? It's where we're going. It's that divine purpose that we go towards, and we have to have faith, right, to get there. So, and that all will be well. And this card here is about faith. It's about trust. It's about friendship. So you might have some very spiritual chats this year with yourself, with other people in your immediate. You might find somebody that lives like that's around your day-to-day location that you can talk to about these things. You might also start speaking. You might meet this person at a bar. There is betrayal. So maybe the Nine of Cups. This is like too much of a good thing, right? A friend that's too much of a good thing. No. Oh. You could be ending something with someone that you've had as a friend with benefits. There we go. A friend with benefits, and you might be communicating with them about this, and it's because you have a new beginning, but this might have been a very steamy relationship that has some there could have been some trust issues with it, and that's why it only went so far. But you have faith that, you'll eventually find somebody that you can completely rely on, or that this person will eventually turn around. But there is something kind of spicy here with that. Let's go to your ninth. Uranus. The Chariot. The Three of Swords. The Page of Pentacles. And the Man. A man that's a friend. A man that you can trust. There's something here about some man coming in. He might be a foreigner. He might be from a different place than you. Different country than you. You seem like you're receiving whatever he's putting out romantically. With a practical side to you. Because you've maybe had a broken heart. You're learning. You're kind of studying how he's how he behaves, if he behaves, and or she. You can switch it around if you need to. There's like, you might be learning about some sort of betrayal in love. Or you might meet someone who's gone through a betrayal in love that on a trip somewhere or something. And I hear some of you might they might have a broken car, a broke down car. It's not in the Chariot isn't in reverse, but whatever happens with this situation, you're going to take the betrayal or the heartbreak that it brings with it, and you're going to use it to propel you forward. You might take a trip spontaneously somewhere after this that kind of helps you open your horizons. It's very victorious, the Chariot. So I'm seeing maybe you travel abroad for school and you meet somebody new, and you're learning abroad. This is learning abroad. Traveling abroad for sure because of the Chariot there. A spontaneous trip. Very interesting. The path of an ending on the path of man. Maybe you meet somebody and you're heartbroken that you have to leave because you're only on vacation, and you might stay in touch with them, or it was a fling. There could be a fling that happens at some point that it might end up being more, though. It might come in after a breakup if you're already kind of on the rocks with somebody. There is some sort of sacrifice of the heart, a friend. I'm going to go into your 4th house now. Neptune. The Knight of Swords. The 7 of Pentacles in reverse. The 8 of Rods. And the Mountain. Something at a distance. A friend at a distance. Yeah. It could be somebody that's at a distance that you met, and it kind of sparked something up, and now you have to come back home. And so there's a lot of communication going on. I'm trying to like blend the 2 houses together here. There could be some challenges within the home sector of your life. Some challenges, some road bumps, but I see a lot of things coming in fast in terms of whatever block there was, whatever difficulty there was at home or in the family, or, from the past. I see there being a lot of communication and fast communication about, somebody like not being able to wait anymore on something. And maybe there's some argumentative words, or there's some rash decision making that happens. But with Neptune here, maybe we don't know all the information yet. Maybe things are a little bit wishy-washy and unclear. We might want to maybe not jump the gun on things that having to do with the family or the home. Now, a family that lives at a distance could be calling a lot more, and they're telling you they can't wait to see you. That's another way I can read this. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, so maybe they're talking about the holidays and you coming to visit for the holidays, or after the holidays. I think Neptune's like the end of the holiday season, right? Like Pisces, it's like, oh yeah, we've had Christmas and Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So it's just maybe a little bit of a timeline, but there'll be something in you that you might not feel super secure, or you might be like kind of floating around this year. It might feel like you don't have like a stable base to operate from. You might have to live out of a suitcase a lot. I don't know what kind of job you have, or what kind of lifestyle you live or lead, but there's something here about being prepared for whatever. There's like lots of different things, and impatience as well. This is all very fast energy, so I think that if there's any obstacles, you're going to try to plow through them. Just make sure you're looking where you're going in terms of your home base and your family and everything. Waiting for the harvest. Those of you who have been trying to get pregnant and start a family, you might have had some difficulty, and now there's some movement with that. All right, let's go to the 10th. Get some more clarity. Pluto, the Devil, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, the Hierophant, and the House. Oh, it's so funny how that happens. Working from home. I feel like you'll be working from home because the 4th house is the home, right? And then I have the House card in the 10th house opposite. And the Hierophant is the leader of the pack, right? He can represent a patriarchal figure. He can also represent religion, any organization that has a leader, or a sect that has a gospel, really, or a way of doing things, right? And with the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, there's almost the inability to enjoy what you've worked for and be in solitude. And it might be because you're chained up with this person somehow. You're kind of stuck. They might be a kind of a tyrant authority figure within the family, and you might live at home with them, and they're kind of holding you to it. Pluto and the Devil next to each other. That's very dark, kind of toxic. I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's like toxic power, control, domination. It's dark transformation. It's really taboo, right? The Devil by itself, I always read as a very positive card at first because, I mean, it's a natural part of the tarot cycle, right? We have to deal with some things that are heavier and more dense in energy, and also I'm a Capricorn, so I tend to look fondly of this card because without it, we wouldn't have any rules or structure to anything. There would be no, the actual basis of, atoms that hold things together. The Devil kind of holds that as well. So I know it's represented as like the big bad guy with the wings and the horns, but in this context, it kind of is. So you might be trying to work from home, carry for your responsibilities at home, and you're having difficulty doing that because there is some either father-in-law or boss that might be very toxic and it seems like you can't get rid of him. I don't know why. He might be constantly berating you or messaging you. He's not in reverse, so maybe it's somebody else, not necessarily with him. But at home there is a structure. There's a way that you do things. There's, you like spiritual practices done a certain way. There's somebody that's a leader, right? A leader of the pack. You're unable to enjoy what you've built. You can't spend as much time at home because you feel strapped to, or kind of forced to deal with something. And what I'm thinking is there's arguments here as well because I have the Knight of Swords. So, and the 7 of Pentacles, like, will this ever be done? Will this ever come to pass? There's difficult incoming communications. Maybe you wanted to get a house and you're being blocked from that and you're getting communication about that and having to juggle, and you're looking for a new home. maybe you have a priest come to your house because you have had some paranormal activity and you can't really be at peace in your own home, and you know, the devil next to the Pluto card, that can literally be like poltergeist activity, or um you know, don't freak out, because if you're not having that now, then it's probably not a problem for you. But maybe you have a priest come in and bless the home to make it more peaceful. There is an energy coming in, though, and Neptune's opposite Pluto. So we have another spiritual kind of thing going on. We've got spirituality, we've got maybe arguments over spirituality or a battle of spirits. We have the Seven of Pentacles, which is like the inability to harvest things, the inability, you know, having to wait longer than you can. Maybe it's not the right time and it's very disappointing with something. And there's some sort of blockage and or challenge with the home. There's a lot of communication coming in, though, about this maybe you've been trying to get to something and you just can't find the time because you're so busy dealing with this kind of rushed energy. You feel rushed into something. Bound to your career as well. So you could have a boss that's kind of demanding and has a certain way they want things done, and you know, even though you work from home, you might not be able to really enjoy being home anymore. So maybe take the time, and definitely, you know, if you have vacation time, I would take a break this year and kind of, it seems like you might meet a lover. Um, you're learning how to love as well. Someone's trying to teach you something abroad. That's a toughie. I keep going back to that eighth house. So yeah, there's something going on at home. You might feel like restricted by someone else's presence there. It doesn't have to be a ghost. It can literally be like a grumpy person that's a neighbor. I also see, because there's the Nine of Pentacles, she's outside, right? She's in her garden. And you might have somebody who's right next door that might be, or maybe it's at work, right? Maybe it's like somebody that literally um is like the cubicle over from you, and they're just terrible, or they're a boss, or you know, there's something there. There's like a darkness there, a dark person that you're dealing with at work. I don't see there being anything too troubling about it. I feel like you'll hold to your values and what your beliefs, and you'll deal with this person accordingly. Don't let them ruin your peace. If you have to go to HR, go to HR. An ending that an ending that leads you to a man as home, and his home, a man's home, or the home of a man. You might actually go to somebody's house. They might work out of their house, and you might end up working for them there. The devil is also construction, like, so it's because it's building things, it's organizations and entrepreneurship and stuff. So if it is some sort of construction, you might be having some work done on your yard. It could literally be that. Or you work in a place that they do that sort of thing. Now, in the 11th house and the 5th house, 11th house, we have Mercury, the Five of Cups, and then the Four of Cups. Oh no, Seven of Cups, excuse me. So the Five of Cups, the Seven of Cups, Page of Swords, and the Ship. And in the 5th house, we have the Moon, we have the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, in reverse, the Hermit. I feel like every card from this deck is in reverse. That's so funny. All right, so 5th house. I got something random. So you might be looking at your child one day and be like, well, how did you grow, like, overnight? Like, there's this, the Hermit's very tall in this, and I'm just seeing, like, the stork having very long legs, and there's something about that being in the 5th house of children. You could just, it could be, like, kind of like, what is going on? But the stork is super positive movement, and with it being across from the ship, I see a trip somewhere with a friend. So that could have been, your friend could have been going through a divorce. It's happy being with them on this trip, but they're sad, they're grieving. But it's a new beginning for them, right? And the two of you can share this special moment together and kind of like be there for one another. And that could be what's going on here. Taking a trip abroad together with your best friend who's going through some breakup of some kind. But there is a trip in the works with a friend, for sure. I see positive, uplifting, elevating things with romance. It could be a friend that ends up becoming a partner this year. They could be a Virgo or a Gemini or a Libra. They could be a couple years younger than you or a lot older than you. I have the Hermit. He's a much older guy. And I have the Page of Swords here, much younger guy. I also have the Knight. So there's fast action going on. This trip could come... I don't know. It seems like, because it's in the reverse, it might be a planned trip, but like it's a last minute planned trip. There could have been some thought put into it, but not like. But I see you analyzing the good things that are going on in your life. You might be really getting into spending some time alone or doing something that you enjoy alone. You could also, this is literally like bird watching. And I know it sounds funny, but I do know people that bird watch. So it's also investigating or inspecting, analyzing, like anything that has to do with progress. So you could literally be kind of tracking your gambling tickets, or I don't gamble, but there's people that like have to keep track of all their Keno and stuff, right? So I see that, and I see you like kind of looking at something, being like, where did this good news come from? Like, where did this pop up? The Knight of Wands, again, like being a little bit maybe too impulsive about something. But then I have the King of Wands here, and he's takes action on things, but he knows when to take action on things. He's mastered his impulses, and he trusts his personal instincts, right? His creative and fiery self. So, but I have the Moon. And the Moon in the 5th house, the Moon in Leo. I just feel like Leo is very exerting, right? It's very out there. And so with the Moon, that's very internalized, right? That's subconscious, it's nurturing, it's private. It's your secrets. It's it's things that it's your mom, something like, you know, your childhood nurturing, um, your most deepest emotional self. So there's almost this ambivert energy. You might be like feeling like being alone, but then you're dragged off somewhere to do something that's very exciting and you have to participate in. And I feel like there's a progression having to do with you going off and being alone. So you could meet a partner um, on, like, you know, after being single for a while this year. Some fire sign male person could have a mother that's, you could literally meet a friend through knowing their mother in some way. Um, Give me 1 second. There is somebody who is a little bit immature in terms of their thinking about maybe all of the opportunities that they have. A friend could be kind of swooned by romance and just very kind of Don Juan about things, but you might be very close with one another, with each other. I do see there's some sort of loss. There's some sort of kind of grieving something. Maybe there's a choice that's made because there's so much going on with somebody that you know in your friend circle or associate circle, and it's the wrong choice, and they're talking to you about that on this trip that you guys go on. Maybe they made a decision to go on a trip and they didn't have the best time, or maybe their friends canceled on them last minute, and the people that they chose to go with them, and they have extra ticket and they offer you to come even though you were planning on being alone. You end up going on a whim to fulfill the spot, really, and it ends up being kind of good for you to get out of your own shell. I do see progress romantically. I see a trip, um, potentially with friends, and you guys will be having fun. I feel like this might be a place where you go to watch the birds, literally, like you go outside and you just, it's beautiful there. Um, Analyzing a younger person's speech or how they talk. You might not always care for the way this person communicates. They might be a little bit uh, ignorant, or just, not to be insulting or anything. It's just like one of those, they don't really know. Like maybe they don't have an extensive vocabulary. You're more of the wise one, and so you're just patiently kind of like seeing all the dramatics play out, and not wanting to get too involved in it, but at the same time it's very interesting, kind of gossipy. That's also what this is. This is gossip about a lot of different things. Communication with the mother or the mother's associations. This is also communicating about your needs. So you'll be communicating a lot more about what you need from your associations, and you'll be speaking your mind more as well. The Page of Swords can literally be just like being like, you know, a little bit finally fed up with things and just saying what's on your mind, even not really having a filter, not really having that filter there. So somebody in your life could be like that, or you could be like that this year. All right. go to the 6th house. Saturn in the 6th. Ooh, that's a lot of work. Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, I like that though. The Knight of Swords. The World. And the Anchor. Let's go to the 12th. The South Node. The Two of Swords. The Page of Cups. The Emperor. And the Ring. Traveling for career, I do see that. Or finally kind of anchoring yourself down and saying, I finished something. And then having the freedom or taking a joyride. It is coming out of the 5th, so we're going into the 6th. I feel like there's swift action after you complete something, or you rush, maybe not rush, I think rush is the word, but you step up the pace with something to complete something within a career project, and you do, and you get a quite a lump sum of cash from this. So it could be a full-time job, but you work on commission and you make a big sale, or you are being more, I don't want, maybe not resourceful is not the word, but you might get some lump sum of money from your job. And you will be very, I think it's frugal. You're going to be like holding on to that money. I'm surprised I don't see the 4 of Pentacles here. You may, Saturn in the 6th house, Saturn in Virgo, your house, right? This is about you. You could have a career in the health field. It would be with people with restrictions. So that could be dietary restrictions. That could be disability. That could be anything that's kind of, Saturn also rules the bones, right? The skeletal system and the teeth. So there's also maybe something that you'll be doing that might cost a little bit of money with your health. You might have to have a crown put in. Something there. I've got the movement of something and kind of money being exchanged and something that's being anchored in or that was anchored in and is now being released because it's finished. So, and it's just saying that like there might be a restriction on the situation or strain on the situation. It could have to do with your teeth. You could work in one of these fields. The Anchor card is often about career. It's about stability and security. Securing the ending. The finish line, really. So, I don't see competition necessarily here, but I do see I mean, if you are somebody who races for a living in some way, shape, or form, or you're that's right, you could be a runner. You could be somebody who runs on the reg. So there's securing this, completing this finish line, right? You might be training as well. Training for some kind of health marathon, some kind of thing. And there's a medal too. at the end there with the Ace of Pentacles, or some sort of win of some kind, a new begin that creates a new beginning, or some sort of lump of cash comes in. Saturn is authority as well, so a health authority, a career in health authority. Very interesting. Okay, so let me go to the 12th, because that's always like on the opposite end is always where I get my best work here. Promises, commitments to career. There's some sort of feeling married to your career almost, because it's a spiritual, it's been a spiritual thing for you. The South Node, though. The South Node is where we are going, right? Where we remember our past. It's where we're coming from. You could be remembering your Akashic records, or coming into an experience that leads you to believe you've seen some of your Akashic records or experienced your past lives. That being there in that house. This is commitments to the boss. Commitments to the boss. Something, some kind of gesture that of love, or create emotional outpouring of some kind. Protecting the heart. Not being able to see clearly about what's going on. Knowing you're moving away from something. This is hard. I feel a little stumped right now. That's a toughie. So the Emperor is the boss, right? He's the leader. In the 12th house, it's philanthropy too, it says. But I always think of humanitarian as philanthropy, and that's Aquarius. It might be speaking about your spiritual, the spiritual authority. Saturn opposite the South Node. That's also tough energy, right? We're remembering the past, and it could be remembering we're spiritually connected to whatever we're doing in our job, because we want to be remembered for something. It's almost like being married to your spiritual I was going strong, guys. Your faith. Committing to being a leader. For younger people, or being an authority of an art form. Having to being at an impasse. It's a commitment to your spirituality, and a promise to be faithful and to a higher power, somebody who's in charge, right? There is a gesture made at the time of an impasse. A gesture made at the time of an impasse. A choice must be made, but there's not enough information. So it's trusting what you don't see. You're kind of committed to your faith, or what the authorities say on your faith, or maybe you're oh my gosh, Virgo. There's a securing of something, a completion of a major cycle having to do with career or health in career. Oh, okay. So he could be committed to leading somebody through actions of love to a place that you can't see. So you might work with at a hospice. I don't know why I'm saying that. Yeah, because there's death and the career are really close by, and the stork is an elevation, right? So there's a going away, there's a going upward, there's lifting the heaviness off of others who are going through an ending. So those of you who work for like hospice or a CPA, or it might be a very spiritual promise that you've made, like to your, whoever you call your ruler, your universe, your God. And it seems like maybe there's something there. There's something within career. It's restrictions from the past. We're meant to leave something behind with the South Node, right? So we're leaving behind, we're promising to let go maybe of control in regards to how we interpret or the nice things that other people do for us. So you might have had a hard time accepting help or accepting love from other people. And it's a promise to yourself maybe that this year you'll be making in order to transform your life and go through a big transition. That's also unforeseen enemies. So it could be that a relationship of the past was a complete, an enemy to you and what the control that you had over your own, happiness in your life, and kind of blocked you from seeing the truth spiritually, or made you feel like you had to go through a dark night of the soul spiritually. And now you're remembering that. At some point this year, you'll complete a really major cycle, and you'll feel really good, and there'll be good things that come of it, and it will be like a goal that's not easily attained, right? With your health, with your job, something like that. And then it will remind you of where you came from and all the difficulty that you had about that, and how it wasn't in your control, but there's like there's a purpose to it, and you'll see that finally. All right, Virgo. Wow. What an awesome reading. I like, there's some great change happening. And I think that you handle it quite well. I see that there's love coming in, new love. We're dealing with finishing up old cycles with love. There's career advancement and completions and goal attainment. At work, it might be kind of challenging. Even if you work from home, somebody might disturb your peace. Don't worry about that. I think that's really the only area that might be kind of a challenge, is like the home work life balance and dealing with like maybe one person that's kind of a pain in the butt. But everything else looks good. You might come into the year feeling a little bit drained, and or like there's a burden of something on you, but it's being released probably midway through the year. By then you'll definitely be free of that, and there's a lot of good luck coming in. Where you'll be transforming the most is how you, the path that you're on, and how you kind of balance your play and your work life and your home life. And that might be sharing it with somebody else. I do have the Emperor again in the 8th house. That's also a spiritual house, but a different kind of spiritual house. It's very occult, and that's an occult authority, right? Somebody who's an authority on the taboo, somebody who's an authority on spirituality from an occult perspective. Then we have a commitment or a promise or some kind of contract agreement. The ring can be an agreement. You might be making an agreement with somebody who's a spiritual leader to be an apprentice of some kind. And the Two of Swords could just mean like seeing is believing, believing is seeing type scenario. You could be doing good, agreeing to do something good for somebody else, even though you don't, they may not know who did it. They might not see who did it. There's something about that. That was a tough one. Well, I hope that you got something out of this, Virgo, and I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And have a great 2023. I know that there'll be some great things going on. It looks like it's going to be a jam-packed year for you, and I'm excited for you. So I'll see you in January, Virgo. Have a good one. Bye.